They're mixing cement to pour the cement floor of the church.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve, for putting that together. So there were two locations, again, that we worked with. One was called Home.Team, and the other one was the Hilltop Church. And so we worked with this great missionary couple, Mike and Ilona Hattinger, and as you know, I'm right here originally from this area. And her parents attended this church for many years, and so it was great to connect with them. And so they're going to help us with some slides this morning, and we're going to walk you through, show you a little bit of what happened, and then we're going to have some testimonies come forward. So first of all, we started at this church in Quilapa, and both of these sites, these people were in great need, a lot of need. You can go ahead, Jen, and move forward to that. Thank you so much. That was the whole team shot there with all of us, including the missionaries. And as we move into these next slides. So project number one was the Home.Team Church with Pastor Paul and Sally. And this is where we told you that we were going to build a home for the pastor. And so if you look at this next slide, you'll kind of see this is what this was like when Roman and I did the pre-trip back in June. Literally, they had some chalk lines in the dirt. And so I can tell you they are far from chalk lines at this point. We had sent money on ahead. By the time we got there, they had extended the roof off of the facility that you see. Then that we would build the back wall to that, which would also become the wall of their home. They had also already poured a concrete floor. When I preached there back in June, by the way, this is how they bring up a lot of their supplies. Isn't that fun? We never get delivery trucks like that here at Bethel. But by the time when I was there, I was dirt floor sanctuary. When we came, they had already poured and hand-mixed concrete and poured the whole sanctuary floor. And I'm telling you, if you haven't hand-mixed concrete in the mountains, you just haven't lived, all right? We did a lot of it, didn't we, team? A lot of hand-mixing. And so you see here some slides as the walls begin to come up. And we had teams that we were passing in the concrete, the cinder blocks and the building. And here's where we were taking 110-pound bags of cement mix, dropping it in. We would sift the sand through to make sure that it was fine enough. And then you come in with shovels and turn that over and just keep mixing up with water and concrete mix. And that provided not only the concrete for the floors and all of that, but also for all of the mortar in the brick. And you can see here the walls are coming up. And so Roman, his dad was a bricklayer, and so he did a great job kind of orchestrating a lot of that coming up. And we built the walls halfway up, so you can see here, looking down upon it, all those walls to that home. And it's actually, the home wound up being larger than what we originally anticipated for them. And so it was great. Plus, we were able to add on, which you'll see in another photo here, we were able to, that building kind of in the back there is the existing restroom, but we were able to build onto that. And there you can see it. and we literally, the home has got its own bathroom now. So they don't even have to go outside to use the bathroom. Isn't that amazing? I mean, the things that we take for granted, right? And we think, boy, I got to have 2 bathrooms in my house, or 2, whatever. Hey, they're just thankful to have 1 they don't have to go outside to get to. And so, but you can see it coming up. Once we built the walls halfway up, then there was forms built, and you put in rebar and pour this concrete, and that settles, and then you start on the second building it up. And so there you can see all these bricks that we were carrying.
Go back to that picture with the rebar. There's Todd Buck.
Straightening out rebar.
Hercules, straightening out rebar.
So he was bending steel, And Dave Warrenberg there, you see Pastor Brian in the background, and one of the guys, Mike, on the left there that we work with, and we'll tell you about him. And then, so the walls just kept coming up, and by the time we were done, you can move on. By the time we were done, the walls were all up, ready. So basically, they just had to, Roman and Dave were even able to pre-plumb the house for them. And so by the time we left, all they had to do was give it about 2 weeks for those walls to settle, everything to be good, and then they were going to put the roof on, and there's a house, everybody. Isn't that awesome? And so we accomplished so much, so grateful for all those that worked so hard. And so again, this was all at Quilomphum at the first site. And then project 2 was the Hilltop Church with Pastor Juan and Gabriella, and this is where we built the sanctuary. And when I say hilltop, I don't mean hilltop, I mean mountaintop, everybody, all right? Mountaintop. And you really, we were concerned about taking on this project at first because when we went to visit back in June with the missionary, his car got stuck halfway up the hill. Okay, so we had to, and we're like, well, can we walk a team up there every day? And by the time we walk up a mountain, are they going to have energy to work? But we had this amazing driver who drove like literally a 12-passenger church van, and he made it up that mountain every day in a 12-passenger church van. And I'm going to tell you what, we were praying and hanging on, right, team? And because you got cliff hanging off, and there was places where he'd have to stop. And so we thought, hey, it's important for you to kind of experience what we experienced day after day. So we took a 25-minute ride up the mountain, spinning and turning and throwing dirt, and we compressed it into about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
So I need you just to put your seatbelt on right now.
Yep.
For those adventure seekers, you can raise your hands and be like you're on a roller coaster.
Yes.
But his name was Cesar, and he did an amazing job. We'd have to shut the air conditioning off halfway so we'd have enough power to get us up there.
Yep.
He'd always say, shutting the air conditioning off. But here's a video to show you what it was like.
By the way, that's Steve and Tim in the back of that truck in front of us. So this is the city roads right now. Now we're getting into the fun stuff.
Turning off air conditioning.
Who needs AC anyway when it's 85 to 87 degrees, right?
To back up just to make a film. Car coming.
I'd be afraid.
Traffic jam. We're all having fun now. Look at us. Not done, folks.
We had one little patch of concrete right here that we were so grateful for. And then it's gone. every bit as rough as it looks. And look, this is what the church is starting to look like now. Isn't that amazing, everybody? Talk about a tremendous amount of work. Yeah. The end. And so literally from the time we left the hotel, it was about, 25, 30-minute drive. We compressed it in short there. But you saw there in the end of that video a shot of what the church was looking like. And Jen, if you can go back to those photos again, what it looked like back in June was literally just a tin roof, with some boards. To go from that to what you just saw, isn't that amazing, everybody? Talk about a tremendous amount of work, amen. And so I'd say that was a pretty Merry Christmas for them. And here's the thing, they are all in. I want you to understand when, we were thankful for a ride up there, but they have people that are walking 30 minutes up that mountain. Walking from the base of the mountain takes them a half an hour to get up to this church. And so here's some of our team working. Not only did we do the construction and the electrical, but we were also building benches, and Tim and some of the guys built pews for them. This is some of the kids that wanted to get a picture with us, and their worship leader, a young teenage young man that's just you could just sense an anointing on his life. So here's Brian. Now we were praying for Lori because he was a chick magnet over there. Everybody, all the ladies wanted a picture with Brian. Whoa, Brian!
Brian, we have a picture to prove it.
Yeah.
You look pretty happy.
They didn't want a picture with me. I don't know. I'm not enough hair, I guess. And so here you see Brian, he's a professional electrician, and so he wired this whole building for him. Todd's down there helping, and we cut into the concrete, so everything was sunk in flush in the concrete with the electrical and stuff. Did a tremendous job. Here, it's our beautiful little baby up there. I mean, the families are just all in, and so many of the moms were cooking, and she put her child down on cardboard on the dirt with the blanket on top of that, and that's just the way they roll with it there, They don't have a nice nursery like we do, right? But they make it work. And so again here, I don't know if Todd's supervising or what he's doing there on the left, but we see Tim and Steve are working hard. So Todd was a hard worker too. So there you got a shot. That's some of the pews that they built. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And did a great job building
design
benches.
on those.
Yeah, did great. And they also were able to build a big table for them. And anyway, a few more shots. This is a little young man we'll tell you about here in a little bit later. But his name
Hannah
was
told me
Alex.
with this picture that she kept scooting closer to him, the little boy Alex, but he kept scooting away from her to Brian. He just went, so then they got into laughing, and that's sweet.
He was all in though, just as the rest of them were. And so here we are, we got his tuned up the guitar and had some worship out there under the tree. And
do you see, this is the mountainside, so it's dirt, so they would take a shovel and actually just dig steps for us in the side of the mountain so we didn't roll down the mountain, because they're used to climbing that.
Yeah.
And so, and they carry a shovel wherever they go. We whine about shoveling our sidewalk on a Sunday to get to church. On a daily basis, things are eroding, and they bring shovels with them all the time. Mm-hmm. This is a way of life for them.
Yeah. So this was a picture that she'll explain some later, but our church, not only did we do all the construction, but we run an amazing ministry here called Missionettes for our girls and Royal Rangers for our boys. And while we were there, we were able to launch and provide all the supplies for both of these churches to officially launch a Missionettes Girls Outreach and a Royal Rangers Boys Outreach. Isn't that awesome? And so both of these churches were completely equipped with all the supplies and the tools, and we helped them launch that. And so you see there, as we're presenting to the pastors, the materials there. So this is some of the guys that were working at the Hilltop Church. Miguel, I know, had to work this morning. He's at Walmart working today, but had a great team up there.
Michael Hattiger said that the word to describe our men translated into they were brutes.
That's what they call our guys, brutes.
They were brutes. They were hard-working brutes.
Yeah, amen. And so here you can see in the middle there's a big beam. And there's a scaffolding there. And so if you look at this next picture, you'll see they tied a rope off of that scaffolding so it wouldn't tip over. And then literally they started pulling this huge beam that took like 12 of us to pick up and move into place. It was so heavy. And here they have raised that thing up using that scaffolding with a welder on the scaffolding, all right? And the only thing holding that thing from flipping and flying off the mountain was a rope tied off to the pillar. And so OSHA wouldn't allow us to do that here in Parma. I'll just say it right now. We wouldn't, and you wouldn't get me up there. but here you can see after they got that final, and then this week there will be a gentleman that will be coming and putting the roof on that's already paid for, and so that whole facility will have a roof on it. And you can kind of get a little visual of this is the mountaintop church, everybody. This is a city on a hill that can't be hidden. Amen? Isn't that awesome? And so praise God. That's incredible what we were able to accomplish that week. And then also the ladies had some projects with the Evangelism Missionettes, Royal Rangers, and Crystal. I'll share a little bit about it.
So this is a group of us ladies at the First Church, and we were just getting ready. They were having their first Royal Ranger and Missionette ceremony that afternoon. So we were getting everything ready for that. You would not believe the amount of kids that were in this ceremony. It just touched my heart. And they get it. They're training and preparing children. This is just a group of some of the ladies there. And there to see the two little boys up front that have their rainbow vest on.
Isn't that awesome?
So that's just a picture of that. We can go on. Now also, we helped them start their programs and got them the supplies. But the women, this is at the DCA Marshall Church up on the hill. And these ladies went around door-to-door evangelizing. So we broke up. Some of us were at the Quilampum Church, some of us were at the Hilltop Church, and then we would switch. So there's Tati and Lauren.
Yeah, and if you notice the lady with the what would you call it? The sling. Literally, she's carrying a toddler up and down those mountains in 85-degree heat. And I mean, she was a trooper, just right in there with you, wasn't she, ladies? And
I mean, just, we're talking like this, everybody.
Yeah.
I told myself, breathe through your nose, out through your mouth, and do it very slow, and then take a sip of water every 3 steps. But it was really steep, so that's what they did. This is, oh my goodness, if we could have took him home, we would have.
Pastor
Paul and
Sally's little boy. We just didn't have enough room in our suitcase.
And this little boy's going to have a home because of our church. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Him and his 6-year-old brother are going to have a bedroom now. Isn't that awesome? Like Merry Christmas, amen? Awesome.
All right, these are some of the supplies that we got. So you see there's a whiteboard, there's cones for them to play. They call it football, we call it soccer. Volleyball, there's paper, there's pens, crayons, pencils. I mean, everything imaginable that we could think to give these churches for startups. So.
And again, all that concrete floor, we provided the means for them to do that.
This is the Quilampum Church.
So from June to when we arrived, they had put concrete. This was all dirt when I preached there back in June. So they're workers, everybody.
And that's just inside the church, and they were decorating for the ceremony that afternoon with balloons. And then we're presenting the gifts to them, and that's Michael and Ilona Hagger in the middle there. And then one of the, this was so fun. At the Mountain Church, we painted clay pots, and we bought roses, and so we got to make a flower with the ladies that we invited. So they would come and paint their pot and plant their flower, and then while we were doing that, we would talk to them about the Lord. So I was picking out roses there. And see, so the ladies of the church, they painted little calendars for us, and we painted the clay pots, and then we had a gift exchange with the ladies that already went to the church. So this is Pastor Gabi, yes, because there's a Gabi, but she's Pastor Gabi, and she painted this for me. And so as you see there, and then I'm painting a pot over here, and oh, this dear sweet lady, I just loved her. But anyway, so, but then we invited ladies, and they painted the clay pots, and they got to keep them and take them home. So that's that. And that's the ladies from the church and us. And we're sitting on the benches that the guys made.
Yeah.
You can see we're holding our flowers. And then now experiencing the culture. So look at that beautiful picture. Who took that picture? Somebody claim that one? That was just beautiful. I loved that. So now we're going to go through some of the stuff that we experienced while we were there. Just beautiful scenery. It does not do it justice.
That's a shot from the Hilltop Church.
Yeah, you would have
looking out across the city.
You keep going there. These are the ancient ruins that we went to. Does anybody remember the movie Nacho Libre? All the teenagers do. It was filmed here. So then we climbed to the top. We made it to the top. And as you can see, Brian is looking like a superhero there. Lori's really excited. I'm in pain. Now look at the faces there, y'all. I mean, it's so obvious who is.
You got vertical leap though.
I did get off the ground, y'all. That was the Lord. That was the Lord. Because as you can tell. Okay, we can move on.
Those ancient ruins actually go back to 100 BC. It was pretty incredible.
They had little itty-bitty taxis, as you can tell. And there was 5 of us in there. Now, I know you can't see the other people, but they're really there. And then I had to get out of there. I'm like, good night. That top left picture, it was a buffet. And that was amazing. Best guacamole I've ever had in my life. Then they had a little selfie center, so me and my husband got in the selfie center. I'm assuming the guy in the middle owns the restaurant, but I don't know. And then the bottom left is at the hotel, eating supper. These are the ladies cooking. Now, listen, over there you have 2 breakfasts, a lunch, and a supper. We couldn't eat another thing. I mean, you finish the first breakfast, and then you get there, and they want to feed you the second. And then, here comes lunch. And you're like, but I just haven't digested the second breakfast yet. They fed us, and look, they cooked right outside, just like camping. Open fire. It was amazing. There's Debbie and Michael Hadender's girl, Katie, and Lauren and Hannah. And then, if you can see on the plate, kind of in front of the radish,
that dark light.
That was a surprise. They said they made us a surprise, and that we weren't to ask what it was. And so, me and Debbie, the next picture I think shows, we have it in our mouth. And then we found out it was grasshoppers.
Now don't you wish you would have ate with us?
Nothing a little spice and lemon can't take care of. You just pop it in, you chew, and then you smile, and everybody has it in their mouth.
Popcorn kernels. We were smiling, and we still had black legs sticking out.
So, praise the Lord. Okay, now these are
I think I puked.
people that
I wasn't on that side, I was below.
And they have it timed to the T to wash your windshields. So they will get a little step, they climb right up there. So that's what he's doing. He is washing that bus's windshield. And then he's done, paid before the light turns. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. All right.
So this morning, I want you to turn in your Bibles with me, though, to John chapter 10. Would you turn there?